The distant planet of Vera 7 stretched beneath a lavender sky, its jagged mountains and frozen plains glinting in the early sunlight. From orbit, the human colony looked tiny, almost fragile against the vast alien world. Yet within its reinforced walls and domed habitats, the humans moved with purpose, aware that the Krith, a mysterious alien species, watched from beyond the stars. They were stronger, faster, and more technologically advanced. But humans had something the Krith did not: instinct, creativity, and an unyielding spirit. Lieutenant Aaron Cade stepped off the dropship, boots crunching against the icy ground. He was tall and lean, with a calm presence that drew attention without demanding it. His hazel eyes swept over the training grounds, noting the positions of other soldiers, their postures, and their movements. There was a method to the chaos, a rhythm he seemed to understand instinctively. The Krith had tested many worlds, and yet here, on Vera 7, humans held their ground. Commander Lyra Venn observed from a nearby tower, her eyes scanning the troops through a tactical interface. She had heard of Aaron Cade, the soldier whose reputation preceded him. Stories of his quick thinking in combat, his ability to inspire his team, and his uncanny knack for improvisation reached far beyond the colony. She had always been skeptical of human abilities, believing that alien technology and strategy were far superior. Yet as she watched Aaron move, she felt a stir of curiosity she could not ignore. He approached the training field where a small group of soldiers practiced maneuvers. With a swift, fluid motion, he joined their formation, stepping into the drill without hesitation. The soldiers followed his lead, responding to subtle gestures, slight shifts in stance, and almost invisible cues. He did not raise his voice, did not shout commands. Yet the unit moved as one, as if each member anticipated the other's thoughts. Lyra's breath caught slightly. She whispered under her breath, a soft murmur meant for no one. "I need him." She could not explain the feeling. Was it admiration, curiosity, or something deeper? But one thing was clear: the humans, led by him, could do what others thought impossible. "Lieutenant Cade," a sergeant called, interrupting her thoughts. "Training drill begins in 5 minutes. You will lead the defense scenario." Aaron nodded, already analyzing the field. There were obstacles, simulated threats, and a timer. His mind worked quickly, calculating movements, cover positions, and potential enemy paths. Unlike most soldiers, he did not rely solely on strength or weapons. He relied on thinking, on observation, and on understanding both his team and the environment. The drill began. Small robotic drones simulated Krith combat units moving swiftly, firing harmless but blinding projectiles. Soldiers ducked, rolled, and fired in return. Aaron moved among them like a shadow, positioning, guiding, and correcting. When one soldier stumbled, he was there, quietly adjusting their stance and redirecting their attention. When a drone veered unexpectedly, he adapted instantly, directing the team to take advantage of the new path. Lyra watched, fascinated. Each decision Aaron made seemed effortless, yet it required immense awareness. He was not just a soldier. He was a conductor, orchestrating human reflexes, intuition, and creativity into something larger than any individual. In moments when drones surrounded the team, the soldiers instinctively moved to create escape routes, confuse the attackers, and counterattack, all without a word from him. As the final drone fell, the team paused, breathing heavily but triumphant. Aaron stepped back, letting the soldiers catch their breath, his calm expression unchanged. It was a performance, yet it was real, and it was remarkable. "Impressive," Lyra said to herself, still observing through the interface. Her voice was quiet, almost reverent. "I need him." The warning siren sounded across the colony, cutting through the quiet anticipation. A red alert flashed across the monitors, signaling incoming Krith ships. The drills became real. Panic stirred among the junior officers, but Aaron's presence steadied them. "Move to positions. Shields up. Prepare for landing." His voice rang out, not in panic, but with firm command. The soldiers responded immediately, moving to the perimeter defenses. Aaron's mind raced ahead, imagining potential strategies the Krith might use, calculating human weaknesses and strengths, and identifying how to turn the situation to their advantage. From her observation post, Lyra saw the colony's defense teams begin to falter under the pressure. Automated turrets jammed, communication lines scrambled, and confusion spread. Yet Aaron did not hesitate. He ran between stations, checking weapons, giving quick corrections, and maintaining morale with short, clear instructions. His presence was a beacon of calm, and the humans responded. The first Krith ships pierced the atmosphere, metallic and menacing against the violet sky. They glowed with an eerie light, their surfaces covered in strange alien symbols. Aaron's eyes narrowed, scanning their formations. Unlike human machines, these ships were built for precision and speed, designed to overwhelm any opponent. But humans had something the Krith could not predict: ingenuity. Aaron signaled his team. Split into 2 squads. Squad Alpha will cover the east approach. Squad Beta, cover the west. Follow my lead, and remember, we fight smart, not just hard. The squads moved, trusting his judgment completely. In moments, they formed an intricate network of defense covering the colony's weak points, anticipating Krith landing zones and preparing traps. Aaron took advantage of every natural feature, ice ridges, rocky outcrops, and valleys, to create choke points where the alien forces would be slowed and vulnerable. Lyra could barely contain her awe. She had seen many humans in combat, but none moved with this level of confidence, skill, and instinct. It was as if he could see the future of every possible move, and every human around him followed instinctively. Her earlier whisper returned, louder this time. I need him. The first Krith fighters landed. Alien shapes emerged, taller and more intimidating than humans, their limbs long and fluid. Their weapons were strange and deadly, firing beams that carved through the terrain. The human squads reacted instantly, following Aaron's lead. Where most soldiers would retreat or hesitate, they pressed forward, exploiting small mistakes and weaknesses in the alien approach. Aaron moved through the battlefield like a ghost. He didn't fight recklessly. He studied, anticipated, and guided. A soldier fell under fire, and he was there, pulling them to safety while providing cover fire. Another faced a Krith ambush, and Aaron redirected a squad to intercept without hesitation. Every action was deliberate, every choice precise. Minutes passed, though it felt like hours. The humans began to gain ground, pushing the Krith back toward their landing ships. Lyra's heart raced, not with fear but with admiration. She realized something fundamental. The strength of humanity did not lie in their weapons or numbers. It lay in their minds, their hearts, and their refusal to give up. The Krith, frustrated by human unpredictability, withdrew. Their ships lifted off, leaving a scarred but resilient colony behind. The humans regrouped, tired and wounded, yet victorious. Aaron stood in the center, unshaken, observing his team and ensuring no one was left behind. Lyra descended from her post, her steps silent but deliberate. She approached Aaron as he checked the perimeter, still in command, still calm. Lieutenant Cade, she said softly, you've done what I did not think humans could. Aaron glanced at her, expression unreadable, yet his eyes held warmth. We do what we must, he said simply. Humans survive because we adapt. That's what makes us dangerous. Lyra nodded, understanding for the first time the depth of human resilience. She smiled faintly, whispering once more, I need him. This time it was a statement, not a question. She knew that with Aaron Cade on their side, humanity had a chance. Against the Krith, against impossible odds, and against the uncertainty of the universe itself. As the sun dipped behind the jagged mountains, casting long shadows across the icy plains, Aaron looked toward the horizon. The Krith would return. They always did. But so would the humans, stronger, smarter, and unyielding. And in the heart of it all, he would lead them. Because some battles were not just about weapons, but about spirit, courage, and the human way. The first part ended with the colony breathing in relief, but none so keenly aware of hope as Commander Lyra Venn. Watching Aaron Cade in combat had changed her perspective forever. She understood now that human ingenuity, courage, and heart could shape the fate of worlds, and in that understanding she whispered once more to herself softly, reverently, I need him. The red alert sirens echoed across Vera 7 as the Krith fleet approached the colony once more. This time the threat was not just a small landing squad. The aliens had brought their main forces, vast ships that blotted out the sky and armored walkers that moved like unstoppable shadows across the frozen plains. The human colony trembled under the weight of the impending invasion. But inside the walls there was no fear, there was strategy. And at the center of it all was Lieutenant Aaron Cade. Commander Lyra Venn stood in the central command hub, eyes wide behind her visor as the displays tracked the Krith's advance. Her earlier admiration for Aaron had grown into something more profound. She had seen him in the drills, had seen the calm in his eyes, the clarity in his decisions, and she knew he was the reason humanity could even hope to survive. Lieutenant Cade, "The Krith ships are forming attack vectors," she reported, pointing to the holographic projection. "They're faster and heavier than last time. We can't hold them off with conventional defenses alone." Aaron studied the display, his brow furrowed. "Then we won't fight conventionally," he said, his voice calm but firm. "We'll fight smart." He turned to his strike team, soldiers who had come to trust him implicitly. "Alpha Squad, you'll take the eastern ridge. Beta Squad, the western approach. I will lead the central defense. Use the terrain. Make the Krith overextend." The squads moved quickly, following his instructions to the letter. The humans were outnumbered, but Aaron's confidence inspired them. Each soldier felt the difference. With him, they weren't just defending, they were thinking, anticipating, acting. The first Krith walkers hit the outer defenses. Massive, four-legged machines, their armored legs crushing ice and stone alike, advanced with precision. Their energy weapons fired beams that tore through human barricades, yet the humans adapted instantly. Soldiers fired guided projectiles to knock the walkers off balance while Aaron coordinated ambush points, using the natural ridges of the frozen landscape. Lyra watched from the command hub, noting every movement. Her mind raced as she tried to record tactics, understand his strategies, and predict what he would do next. She realized that human intelligence in combat was not just reaction, it was creativity. Aaron did not simply fight. He anticipated. He invented solutions in real time, turning even weakness into advantage. Aaron moved through the battlefield like a shadow. One Krith walker fired a beam that destroyed part of a barricade. He was there immediately, repositioning soldiers behind the rubble while signaling another squad to flank the alien machine. Within moments, the walker was disabled, its energy core destroyed by a precise strike that no standard military manual would suggest. "Move! Use the valley," he shouted, pointing toward a natural depression in the icy plains. The soldiers ran, drawing the walkers into a trap. Aaron's plan worked perfectly. The Krith, confident in their strength, followed predictably, not realizing that they were walking into a kill zone. Lyra whispered again, almost without thinking, "I need him." It wasn't just desire, it was recognition of necessity. Humanity depended on him. Without his mind, their courage, determination, and planning would not be enough. The Krith began to adapt, changing their formation, but Aaron anticipated this as well. He had accounted for multiple variables, multiple reactions, and multiple outcomes. As one Krith squad tried to flank, he redirected a group of soldiers to intercept, creating a false weakness in the center. The Krith fell for it, moving into the trap, where explosives and human ingenuity awaited. During the chaos, civilians trapped outside the colony walls cried for help. Aaron did not hesitate. He signaled a rescue team and led them personally. Using a combination of agility, cover fire, and quick thinking, they reached the stranded citizens. One child stumbled into the snow, and without breaking stride, Aaron scooped them up, shielding them from enemy fire until they reached safety. Every action he took was precise, calculated, yet carried humanity. Lyra's heart raced as she observed. She had seen leaders before, but few inspired loyalty through sheer presence rather than authority. Soldiers risked themselves under his command, not out of fear or orders, but out of trust. They believed in him. Hours passed, though it felt like minutes. The humans, guided by Aaron, began to push back the Krith forces. What the aliens thought was an easy attack turned into a battle of wits, endurance, and adaptability. The human soldiers used the environment cleverly, frozen lakes to slow walkers, rocky ridges to block energy beams, and even abandoned vehicles to create cover and distraction. Every choice was Aaron's design, yet executed flawlessly by his team. At one critical point, a Krith energy cannon targeted the colony's main power generator. If it succeeded, the colony would be crippled. Aaron sprinted across the battlefield, calculating every second. He reached the cannon and, with a small team, created an improvised shield using debris and energy-dampening devices. The cannon fired, but its energy dissipated harmlessly against their makeshift barrier. Aaron's eyes gleamed, not with pride but with satisfaction at a mission accomplished. Meanwhile, Lyra could not tear her gaze away. She realized more clearly than ever that humans had something the Krith could never predict. Courage tempered by intelligence, instinct guided by creativity. Aaron embodied it all. She whispered one more time, "I need him," and this time it was more than admiration. It was a realization. The fate of the colony and perhaps humanity depended on him. As the battle reached its climax, the Krith forces began to retreat. Their machines were disabled, their squads disorganized, and their morale shaken. Humans had used strategy, intuition, and daring to win where sheer force would have failed. Aaron stood at the center of the battlefield, surveying the aftermath. Soldiers tended to the wounded, repaired defenses, and regrouped. Civilians who had been trapped were escorted back safely. Lyra descended to the field, her boots crunching against the icy ground. She approached Aaron carefully, knowing the battle was not over, yet unable to stay back any longer. "Lieutenant Cade," she said, her voice steady but filled with awe, "that was extraordinary. I have never seen human skill like this." Aaron turned to her, eyes calm but alert. "We do what we must," he replied simply. "Strength is not just in weapons or numbers. It's in thought and courage and adaptation. Humans survive because we do not stop thinking even in the worst circumstances." Lyra nodded. She understood now that the stories of human resilience were not exaggeration. They were reality, and Aaron was the living embodiment of it. She realized the truth that had been forming in her mind all day. With him, humans could achieve the impossible. Even as the Krith withdrew into the distance, the human colony knew that the danger was not gone. The aliens would return, stronger and wiser, and every battle would test the limits of human endurance and ingenuity. But with Aaron Cade leading the charge, there was hope. And hope was powerful. The night fell over the colony, icy winds howling through the mountains, carrying the scent of burnt machinery and the faint cries of exhausted soldiers. Fires burned where barricades had fallen, and the humans moved among the ruins, repairing, caring, and preparing. Amid the chaos, Lyra remained near Aaron, watching him coordinate repairs, give advice, and inspire his team. For the first time, she understood what it truly meant to need someone. Not for protection, not for guidance, but for the spirit they represented. Aaron was more than a soldier. He was a symbol of human capability, of what humans could achieve when every mind, heart, and instinct was brought to bear. The first battle was over. The Krith had been repelled, but the war was only beginning. And in the heart of it all, Lieutenant Aaron Cade stood, ready for whatever came next, with Commander Lyra Venn at his side, silently acknowledging that humanity's greatest strength lay in its people, and in the courage of those who refused to give up. The stars above Vera 7 glimmered, distant and cold, but the humans beneath them burned with determination, a force no alien could fully comprehend. And as Aaron looked toward the horizon, he already began planning the next move, the next defense, the next step in the fight for survival. The Krith would return, but so would humanity, smarter, braver, and unbroken. And Lyra whispered once more, softly, but this time with certainty, "I need him." The colony of Vera 7 was quiet, but the calm was only temporary. Fires had been extinguished, wounded had been treated, and defenses repaired. Yet the shadow of the Krith threat lingered like a storm cloud on the horizon. The humans had survived the first real assault, but Aaron Cade knew it was only the beginning. The Krith would adapt, grow stronger, and return with vengeance. In the command hub, Commander Lyra Venn studied the maps and displays. Her mind was still occupied by the events of the previous battle. She had seen the courage, brilliance, and unpredictability of Aaron Cade firsthand. He had turned a desperate situation into a victory. Not with overwhelming firepower, but with intelligence, observation, and quick adaptation. For the first time, Lyra realized that human ingenuity was as deadly as any weapon. "Lieutenant Cade," she said as he entered the hub, his presence calm but commanding. "We've had time to review the battle data. You've proven what humans can do against the Krith, but we need to think beyond defense. They will return, and next time they will be prepared." Aaron nodded, already scanning the holographic maps of Krith movements and trajectories. "I know," he said quietly. "Defense alone will not win the war. We must strike strategically, gather intelligence, and use it to our advantage. Humans fight best when we understand the enemy's weaknesses." Lyra's eyes followed his every motion. She had expected a soldier, a warrior, someone who could lead men in combat. But what stood before her was a strategist, a mind that could outthink an alien intelligence. She whispered almost unconsciously, "I need him." Aaron turned toward her, catching the words but not the tone. He gave a small nod, acknowledging them without comment, then returned to the displays. "I propose a strike against the Krith command fleet," he said. "We cannot defeat them head-on, but we can gather critical intelligence. If we understand their communication, coordination, and weapon systems, we can turn the next battle in our favor." Lyra studied him, noting the clarity in his eyes, the confidence in his posture. "And you intend to lead this strike yourself?" she asked. "Yes," Aaron replied. "I will lead a small, agile strike team. We will use stealth, not brute force. We take what we need and return before they know we are there. It is risky, but calculated." The weight of the proposal was clear. Infiltrating the Krith fleet was dangerous beyond imagination. One wrong move could mean capture or worse. Yet Aaron's calm voice and steady gaze inspired confidence. Lyra realized that he had already calculated the risks in every contingency. It was not reckless. It was precise. "I will join you," Lyra said suddenly, surprising herself. She had been trained for intelligence work, not frontline combat. Yet she could not let him go alone. "I need to see this firsthand. Your strategy, it is more than impressive. It is essential." Aaron's expression remained unchanged, though a small flicker of respect appeared in his eyes. "Your skills will be invaluable. We will need every advantage to succeed." Over the next several hours, the team planned meticulously. Soldiers studied maps of the Krith fleet, communication patterns, and likely patrol routes. Lyra coordinated intelligence analysis, identifying critical nodes that, if accessed, could reveal the fleet's weaknesses. Aaron listened, guided the discussion, and improvised plans when gaps appeared. Every suggestion was weighed, every risk calculated, and every soldier's strength accounted for. As the team prepared, the tension was palpable. Humans moved with purpose, but fear lingered beneath the surface. The Krith were unpredictable, relentless, and merciless. One wrong step could destroy everything. Yet under Aaron's calm command, fear became focus, hesitation became action, and the team moved as a single unit. The night before the strike, Lyra found herself standing near the edge of the colony, looking out at the dark expanse of frozen plains. Stars twinkled above, distant and cold, and beyond them she imagined the Krith fleet, their metallic shapes glinting with alien precision. Her mind wandered back to the previous battle, to the moment she had whispered, "I need him." Aaron approached quietly, his steps careful on the snow-crusted ground. He did not speak immediately, simply observing the horizon beside her. After a moment he said, "They will return stronger than before, but we will be ready. Intelligence, speed, and strategy, that is our advantage. We have the tools to survive and to win." Lyra nodded, feeling a mixture of fear and trust. "I've never seen anyone move like you in battle," she admitted. "Your mind. It's like you can see every possibility before it happens." Aaron gave a small smile, not boastful but sincere. "We learn, we adapt, we survive. That is what makes humans dangerous. Strength alone does not win battles. Understanding and creativity do." The next morning, the strike team gathered in the hangar. Sleek, stealth-modified ships waited, engines humming softly, ready to carry them into enemy territory. Aaron moved among the soldiers, checking equipment, reviewing plans, and ensuring that everyone understood their role. Lyra followed closely, her mind focused on both strategy and observation. "Remember," Aaron said, addressing the team, "this mission is about intelligence, not destruction. We take what we need, we adapt to the situation, and we return. Our goal is information, not confrontation. The Krith may be stronger, but they are not infallible." The ships launched silently, slipping past the planet's orbit and into the void. Stars stretched around them, and the Krith fleet soon came into view, vast and intimidating. Sensors detected patrols, energy fields, and weapon placements. The human ships moved with precision, avoiding detection, following Aaron's carefully charted route. Inside the command ship, Aaron studied the controls and displays, issuing quiet instructions. Lyra monitored communications, hacking attempts, and sensor readings. Together, they anticipated every patrol, every shift in the Krith fleet's formation, guiding the team deeper into enemy territory. The tension was high. Every movement could trigger detection. Every miscalculation could mean disaster. Yet the team moved with unity, following Aaron's lead, trusting his judgment, and adapting to challenges in real time. At one critical point, a Krith patrol nearly discovered the human strike team. Aaron acted quickly, improvising a maneuver that turned a near capture into a diversion. Soldiers moved silently following his instructions while Lyra intercepted communications to mislead the Krith. The enemy, confused and unaware, allowed the humans to slip past undetected. "See?" Aaron said softly to Lyra, his eyes never leaving the displays. "Patience, observation, and timing. That is the advantage of humans. The Krith may be stronger, but they do not anticipate thinking, only force." Lyra nodded, silently amazed. Each success reinforced the truth she had felt from the moment she first saw him in combat. Humans, led by minds like Aaron Cade, could challenge the impossible. She whispered again, almost involuntarily, "I need him." The team reached the heart of the Krith fleet, a massive command ship bristling with energy weapons and patrol drones. Aaron studied the layout, plotting the infiltration route with meticulous care. Every corridor, every security checkpoint, and every patrol schedule was considered. Lyra prepared her hacking devices, ready to access the critical intelligence nodes. "Stay calm," Aaron instructed the team. "Move quietly, think ahead, and follow the plan. Improvisation is our backup, but precision will keep us safe." They entered the ship. Shadows stretched across metallic corridors, and the hum of alien technology filled the air. Sensors detected movement, but the team avoided detection through careful timing and understanding of Krith behavior. Every step was deliberate, every decision calculated, yet flexible. Lyra worked alongside Aaron, guiding soldiers, disabling locks, and accessing communications. She realized how much humans could accomplish when intelligence, creativity, and courage combined. It was not brute force that allowed them to survive in the galaxy. It was the human spirit, embodied in Aaron's calm and brilliant mind. Hours passed within the alien ship, yet the humans moved with efficiency and purpose. They gathered the intelligence they had come for, mapping Krith strategies, weapon systems, and fleet coordination. Aaron's planning, Lyra's skills, and the team's discipline turned a mission that could have been impossible into a success. As they prepared to leave, a Krith alarm sounded, signaling discovery. The humans had moments, not minutes, to escape. Aaron's mind raced, calculating routes, timing, and environmental advantages. "Follow me exactly," he ordered. "We move as one. Trust your instincts, trust each other, and stay focused." The escape was tense, every corridor a potential trap. Soldiers moved with precision, following Aaron's directions. Lyra intercepted communication signals, feeding false information to the Krith to delay pursuit. Energy weapons fired, alarms blared, yet the human strike team adapted, turning each danger into an advantage. Finally, they reached their ships. Engines roared to life, and the team launched into the void, leaving the Krith fleet behind. Data intact, lives preserved, and morale strengthened. They returned to Vera 7 as heroes, not just because of courage, but because of human ingenuity, teamwork, and unbreakable spirit. As they approached the colony, Lyra looked at Aaron. The battles, the planning, the constant adaptation, it all came together in him. She whispered softly, reverently, "I need him." This time it was not just admiration or recognition, it was certainty. Humanity's survival and its... The void of space stretched endlessly before the human strike team, the stars cold and distant, but their mission burned brightly in their minds. Aaron Cade sat in the command seat, calm and focused, eyes scanning the displays. Behind him, Commander Lyra Venn monitored the alien fleet's patterns, ready to act at a moment's notice. The Krith had no idea the humans had penetrated so deeply into their territory, and this advantage was fleeting. "Stay alert," Aaron instructed, his voice quiet but commanding. "Every second counts. One misstep, one missed calculation, and we could be trapped." The strike team moved with precision, entering the massive Krith command ship through a lightly guarded docking bay. Inside, metallic corridors stretched like veins through a living machine. The hum of alien technology was constant. Strange energy fields pulsed along the walls, and shadows moved in unpredictable patterns. This was no ordinary mission. Every step carried the weight of their colony's future. "Remember," Aaron reminded them, "our goal is intelligence. We do not fight unless necessary. Observation, calculation, and stealth first. Adaptation is our weapon." Lyra followed closely, her hands steady as she monitored security systems. Each node she accessed revealed a fragment of the Krith fleet's inner workings: patrol routes, communication channels, and weapon control protocols. The more they uncovered, the more they understood the aliens' strengths and weaknesses. Suddenly, a Krith patrol rounded a corner. Aaron reacted instantly, signaling a diversion. A small explosive device created a distraction, sending a wall of sparks and smoke down the corridor. The aliens paused, confused, while the human team moved silently in the opposite direction. Lyra's heart pounded. She had trained for moments like this, but standing next to Aaron made it feel different. His calm presence reassured her. His mind worked faster than any threat they faced. She realized that humans could face the impossible and survive, not because they were stronger, but because they could think, adapt, and act with courage. Almost there, Aaron whispered, checking a map of the internal ship layout. The main intelligence hub is 2 corridors ahead. Stay alert and follow my lead. The team navigated tight corridors, avoiding detection by timing their movements with precision. Energy sensors flashed briefly, but Lyra intercepted the signals, creating short delays and sending false readings to the Krith security system. Every move was a calculated risk, yet executed with perfect coordination. As they reached the intelligence hub, Aaron paused. "This is it," he said. "Lyra, you're up. We cover the exits." Lyra stepped forward, connecting her interface to the alien system. Strange symbols glowed across her screen, and the Krith network began to yield its secrets. She traced command protocols, communications, and fleet formations, transferring critical data to their secure storage. Every second counted, and she worked with speed and precision. Suddenly, alarms blared. The Krith had detected unusual activity. Footsteps echoed rapidly down the metallic corridors, and alien voices, sharp and alien in tone, called for reinforcements. The human team had been spotted. "Move! Cover me!" Aaron shouted, taking point as the Krith advanced. Soldiers formed a defensive line, energy weapons ready. The first alien struck, tall and powerful, its limbs moving with unnatural speed. Aaron didn't hesitate. He dodged, using the environment to his advantage, and struck precise blows, exploiting weak points the Krith could not anticipate. Lyra watched, awe-filled, as he moved. Each decision was flawless. When to attack, when to retreat, how to protect his team without hesitation. A soldier stumbled under alien fire, and Aaron was there instantly, pulling them to safety while directing others to flank the attackers. Humans adapted to the situation, improvising traps from debris, turning narrow hallways into choke points, and using the aliens' overconfidence against them. Minutes stretched into what felt like hours. The Krith pressed forward relentlessly, but the humans' coordination, ingenuity, and courage kept them alive. Aaron's mind raced ahead, predicting alien movements, improvising strategies, and turning the ship itself into a tool of defense. Lyra intercepted more communications, feeding false instructions to the Krith to slow their response. At one critical moment, the Krith attempted to seal the intelligence hub. Doors began to close, trapping Lyra inside with the data. Aaron reacted without hesitation. He jammed the door mechanism with a precise strike, then used an energy pulse to disable nearby alien sensors. The team surged forward, forming a protective perimeter as Lyra finished transferring the critical information. "Data secured," she announced, relief in her voice. "Good," Aaron said. "Now we get out fast. They know we're here and they will not stop." The escape through the Krith ship was tense and perilous. Every corridor held potential threats. Every corner could hide an alien patrol. Aaron led the team with unmatched focus, adapting to every challenge, turning dangers into opportunities. A hallway collapsed under alien fire, and he calculated a new route in seconds, guiding the team to safety. Lyra stayed close, covering the rear and intercepting communications. She realized that Aaron's leadership went beyond skill. He inspired trust, courage, and creativity. Soldiers acted instinctively, not because of orders, but because they believed in him. Humans, she understood now, were exceptional not because of physical strength, but because of their minds and hearts. Finally, they reached the docking bay. Krith reinforcements arrived just as the human ships prepared for launch. Aaron gave precise orders. Soldiers fired suppressive shots while Lyra jammed the Krith sensors. Energy blasts flew past, sparks flew, but the team moved like a single organism, synchronized and unyielding. Engines roared, and the ships lifted off. Aaron guided them through the void, weaving between enemy ships and energy fields with extraordinary precision. The Krith fired relentlessly, but human adaptability, quick thinking, and teamwork turned near-certain destruction into survival. As they emerged into open space, Lyra exhaled, her hands trembling slightly from tension and relief. She looked at Aaron, who was calm as ever, eyes scanning the displays for any lingering threats. He gave a small nod, acknowledging her glance, and returned to his calculations. "You were incredible," she said softly. "Every move, every decision. You're like nothing I've ever seen." Aaron shook his head slightly. "We succeeded because we adapted, because we trusted each other. Humans can survive anything when we use our minds and hearts together." Lyra's thoughts returned to the phrase she had whispered many times now. "I need him." This time, it was more than admiration or recognition. It was certainty. Humanity's survival and its future victories depended on the brilliance and courage of minds like Aaron Cade. The strike team returned to Vera 7 as heroes, carrying invaluable intelligence that could change the course of the war. The Krith fleet was vast, but now humans understood its structure, weaknesses, and communication systems. With this knowledge, the colony could prepare defenses, plan counterattacks, and strengthen its resolve. Back on the icy plains of the colony, the team debriefed. Soldiers shared accounts of the battle inside the Krith ship. Amazed by the challenges they had faced and overcome, Lyra presented the intelligence data to colony leadership, explaining the potential to outmaneuver the Krith in future engagements. Aaron remained calm throughout, observing, analyzing, and ensuring that every lesson was noted. His presence was steady, a reminder that even in chaos humanity could thrive. As night fell over Vera 7, Lyra stood beside Aaron once more, looking at the stars. She thought of the battles, the planning, and the courage displayed by humans and whispered once again, softly, reverently, "I need him." Aaron looked at her, understanding without words. Humanity had survived another step, but the war was far from over. And with leaders like him, humans would face the future with intelligence, bravery, and unwavering determination. The colony slept under the cold stars, but the human spirit burned bright. The Krith would return, but so would the humans, smarter, braver, and stronger. And in the heart of it all, Aaron Cade would lead them, guiding them through impossible odds with courage, wisdom, and heart. The colony of Vera 7 buzzed with renewed purpose. The intelligence gathered from the Krith fleet had been analyzed, every weakness mapped, every communication protocol understood. For the first time, humans held a real advantage against the alien force that had threatened their home. At the heart of this effort was Lieutenant Aaron Cade, whose brilliance had transformed knowledge into strategy, and strategy into hope. Commander Lyra Venn stood beside him in the command hub, her eyes scanning the holographic projections of the Krith fleet. She had grown to trust, respect, and rely on him, not only as a leader but as the embodiment of what humanity could achieve. She had whispered it many times before, but now she said it silently with certainty. "I need him." Aaron's calm gaze met hers for a moment. "This is it," he said. "The Krith will return. This time we strike with precision. We do not just defend, we decide the outcome." The human forces prepared with meticulous care. Ships lined the docking bays, weapons loaded, and defenses calibrated to exploit every weakness identified in the Krith fleet. Soldiers moved with confidence, guided by Aaron's instructions, trusting his judgment completely. Even those who had doubted humanity's ability to survive against the Krith now understood that intelligence, adaptability, and courage were more powerful than brute force. Alpha Squadron, flank the Eastern Fleet. Beta Squadron, cover the Western approach. Main Fleet, follow my lead, Aaron instructed, his voice steady over the comms. "Timing is everything. Trust your instincts. Move as one. We are human and we adapt. That is our strength." Lyra monitored communications and energy patterns, ready to intervene and support the teams. Her hands moved with precision, intercepting Krith signals, feeding false information, and creating confusion among the alien forces. Every moment, every action was a calculated advantage, designed to turn the tide of battle. The Krith fleet approached, massive and imposing. Their ships glinted with alien energy, their weapon systems charged, their formation near perfect. From the outside, they seemed unstoppable. But humans were different. Under Aaron's command, they moved not as individuals but as a single coordinated force, each action guided by intelligence and instinct. The first exchange began with blinding energy blasts. The Krith fired, striking the outer perimeter of the human fleet, but human ships moved with unexpected agility. Aaron had predicted the attack patterns and positioned the fleet to exploit every opening. The Krith were strong, but humans were unpredictable, and unpredictability was a weapon they wielded masterfully. "Now," Aaron shouted, signaling the coordinated strike. Alpha Squadron weaved through the Krith formation, drawing attention while Beta Squadron attacked from an unexpected angle. Lyra's hacking efforts disrupted Krith targeting systems, leaving their fleet vulnerable. Aaron's own ship moved at the center, weaving between enemy fire with precision that seemed almost impossible. He directed human maneuvers, calculated counterattacks, and exploited every moment of hesitation in the alien formation. Soldiers under his command acted instinctively, guided by his calm yet commanding presence. Every move was calculated yet fluid, turning chaos into advantage. The Krith attempted to adapt, altering formation and firing patterns, but Aaron anticipated these changes. His mind calculated multiple outcomes simultaneously, adjusting the human fleet's position and maneuvers in real time. Energy beams missed their targets, walkers became trapped in their own formations, and human ingenuity continued to turn each threat into an opportunity. Lyra's heart raced as she watched. She had seen Aaron in combat before, but this was different. Entire fleets moved according to his strategy, and humans endured, thrived, and fought with courage. She whispered once more, "I need him," the words carrying gratitude, respect, and admiration all at once. A Krith flagship advanced toward the colony's central hub, energy cannons charging to obliterate the main power station. Aaron's attention shifted instantly. "I'll handle it," he said, signaling a small strike team to intercept. They moved swiftly, using terrain, agility, and distraction to divert the flagship. Lyra provided remote guidance, intercepting sensors and communications to confuse the enemy. The flagship fired, but Aaron and his team dodged and used the alien technology against them. Explosives disabled key systems, energy shields blocked devastating blasts, and with a calculated strike, the flagship's weapon systems were neutralized. The flagship retreated, damaged and ineffective, while the human fleet pressed forward. Soldiers cheered silently as human ingenuity and courage overwhelmed the Krith forces. Energy blasts that would have been deadly moments ago were now deflected, blocked, or avoided entirely. Improvised tactics, calculated movements, and strategic brilliance turned the battle into a demonstration of human excellence. Aaron's mind never stopped. Every movement, every shot, every maneuver was part of a larger plan. He anticipated the enemy's next move before they made it, turning every attempt to strike into a failure. The Krith, despite their advanced technology, were unprepared for humans who could combine intelligence, creativity, and bravery. Minutes turned into hours. The Krith, unable to adapt quickly enough to human unpredictability, began to retreat. Ships fled into the void, energy weapons spent, morale shattered. The human fleet pursued strategically, striking where weakness was revealed, yet avoiding unnecessary loss. Every human soldier, every strategy, every maneuver reflected a combination of courage and ingenuity. Finally, the battlefield quieted. The human fleet remained intact, the Krith fleet in disarray, and the colony safe. Aaron Cade had led them through impossible odds, using nothing more than intelligence, coordination, and courage, the very qualities that made humanity extraordinary. The colony erupted in celebration, though tempered by the knowledge that vigilance would always be required. Soldiers embraced, civilians cheered, and leaders acknowledged the extraordinary performance of the strike team. Lyra approached Aaron, her eyes filled with pride and admiration. "You did it," she said softly, almost reverently. "You've shown the Krith that humans cannot be underestimated." Aaron shook his head slightly, his calm demeanor unchanged. "We did it together. Humans survive because we think, we adapt, and we trust each other. That is what made this possible." Lyra smiled, feeling the weight of those words. She had witnessed humanity's greatest strengths firsthand: courage under pressure, intelligence in action, and the unbreakable spirit that refused to yield. She whispered, this time without hesitation, "I need him." It was no longer just admiration, it was certainty, recognition that humanity's hope depended on the brilliance and heart of people like Aaron Cade. As the sun rose over Vera 7, casting light on the repaired colony, Aaron and Lyra surveyed the horizon. The Krith might return, but the humans were ready. With knowledge, strategy, and courage, they would stand strong. Every victory, every moment of survival, proved that humans were exceptional, not because of strength alone, but because of their ingenuity, spirit, and heart. Across the galaxy, humanity's triumph spread. Allies took notice, new partnerships were formed, and even distant civilizations recognized the potential of human intelligence and determination. The Krith, formidable and relentless, had been humbled by a species that combined adaptability with courage, showing that even in a universe filled with threats, humanity could prevail. Aaron turned to Lyra, their eyes meeting in understanding. Battles would come again, challenges would rise, but the example of today would guide them. Together, with humans at their best, they could face anything. Prepare for the next challenge, Aaron said quietly. The Krith will return and the universe will test us again. But we will be ready. Humans are not just survivors. We are thinkers, creators, and warriors. Lyra nodded, inspired by the truth she had always known but had now seen in action. And you lead us through it, she said. We need you. Aaron gave a small, confident smile. And humanity needs every one of us working together. That is what makes us strong. The stars above Vera 7 glittered like diamonds in the cold void, and the humans beneath them burned brighter than ever. Courage, intelligence, and heart, the combination that had carried them through impossible battles, would guide their future. The Krith had been repelled, but the true victory was the revelation that humanity's greatest weapon was not machines or numbers. It was themselves. As the colony settled, soldiers rested and systems were repaired. Aaron stood at the edge of the training fields, looking out toward the horizon. Lyra joined him, standing quietly beside the one who had led humanity through its greatest challenge so far. The human spirit was unbroken. The Krith might return, but they would face a force unlike any other. With intelligence, courage, and heart, humans had proven that they could rise against any threat. And at the center of that proof stood Lieutenant Aaron Cade, the mind, the courage, and the leader who embodied everything humanity could achieve. Lyra whispered one final time, softly but with certainty. I need him. Aaron turned his gaze to the stars, steady and calm. Humanity had survived. Humanity had triumphed, and humanity would continue to rise no matter the challenge, guided by the unbreakable spirit that made them extraordinary.